And so we arrive. Okay, so welcome everyone. This is the video, the repetitive monthly vid I want to do on Pluto. And first want to point out where Pluto's at. This is a little late in the month. Today is I think it's the 11th. I don't really know. It's the 10th actually. Tomorrow's the new moon. And it's going to be the new moon in gate 60. And this is where Pluto's been all last year and where it will be all this year. So this is the gate right here, as you could see it. I noted it by using a red unconscious gate and a black conscious. Would have made more sense had I made all the transits of the moon in black, but I don't think the color scheme matters here. Really, what I'm sharing here is the transits to Pluto for this month from the moon. And I'm going to begin with last month. Now, today is January 10th. So for those that remember, and we'll be going through it again this month, because we go through the same revisitations every month, because the moon is a very structured, repetitive pattern of new and full moon cycles. The only added complexity or nuance is the eclipses, which occur every 6 months, usually in pairs, solar and lunar eclipses. Otherwise, the moon is a very repetitive structure that moves within cycles and it moves very quickly. It's the fastest moving focal light. And it's not really a focal intentionalized light. The moon is very unconscious, actually. So it's a very hazy light. It's kind of like Neptune in that sense. Something very instinctual, something very void-like, whereas the sun is assertive and it is a focal intelligence. The moon is a protective, generative intelligence. I would say perhaps, I would say maybe something almost void-like. Um, the moon represents yin energy, which in a sense is probably the ruler of this realm. This realm is mostly yin, it's mostly feminine energy. We are betrayed into thinking it's mostly male or yang energy, but it's not. It's actually very yin. This is just an interesting discussion I've been having on many different layers and levels and explorations of yin and yang energy. The sun as active intelligence and the moon as a protective container for intelligence. Um, you think of the symbolism of the moon like the crab, which has its skeleton on the outside, kind of like a container, or its ancient symbol, the scarab. Many insects also have their an exoskeleton or a bone on the outside. It's very interesting ideas, but I'm getting far from my point. So my point here is every month the moon completes its usual cycle around every gate of the human design body graph or the astrological zodiac. I don't have the human design mandala showing where it would show every single gate, but you can see the gates represented by the numbers here, 1 to 64. So the moon will visit every single gate every month. Now, I'm only looking here at the points in which it aspects the planet Pluto. Now, Pluto represents a fractal intelligence, a repetitive breaking down or building up intelligence. Every planet after Saturn, Saturn being our structural focus of creating a reality or structuring a reality or giving solidity to the illusion of time, every planet after Saturn represents a breaking down of third density Saturnian structure. So, for example, Neptune represents the Plato of this realm. It represents the uniformity of everything, the oneness of everything, thus the delusion of everything. Uranus represents the breaking down of the physical. It represents a complete disordering and chaotic influx into what is structured, into new structures. Pluto represents a complete and utter repetitive destruction of what has been built. So when the moon, which is a protective intelligence, a force of unconscious creativity, a container of our most infant qualities, our most instinctual qualities, are the baby that's inside of us, the baby that was us, the egg, the embryo. When the moon, which is closest to us, meets with Pluto, which is farthest away from us, an intelligence which represents that which is hidden away, that which is completely unseen and unknown, like a black sun so deep within us. It causes compulsions and behaviors and addictions and obsessive compulsive actions that are so deep within our subterranean levels of consciousness that the moon and Pluto almost represent the same thing in a sense, one being the closest and the other being the farthest away. Now, Pluto is a higher octave of the moon, granddaughter to grandmother. And when they meet, there is a schism created, a shattering, a breaking down of the shards of a soul of something crystal. Like it represents a coming to the fore of an emotional assessment of what is happening in the real world. And the theme is relative to what the particular phase the moon is in. So tomorrow we're going to experience the new moon conjuncting Pluto in gate 60. Now, the new moon is a time of new beginnings. Pluto in that space could represent a building up of something, a deep impact and powerful, repetitive intelligence towards building something up. Last month in December, around the 26th, Pluto was, as it's going to be again, as I mentioned for this year and last year, Pluto's in gate 60. But the moon in Cancer was in gate 52, then gate 56, which squared Pluto. And so right after the full moon last month, which was around, I think, that Tuesday of that last week of the month, on that Thursday, the moon aspected Pluto. And that was within the range of the 2 to 3 days before and after full moon. And because it was the full moon cycle, this would have caused a breaking down, a repetitive, inevitable breakdown of something. Venus was sextiling Pluto as well, so this could have been a relating between two people. The planets always represent roles, and we as human beings, about 75% to 80% activated by the planets, we usually take on one of the roles. So one human might have took on the role of the sensitive, instinctual moon, while the other person might have taken on the role of the destroyer of the plutonic power hand. And maybe the roles even could have switched back and forth. This is the engagement we have every month, 5 times a month when the moon transits Pluto. So this month it'll be, it was January 5th. It was the 27th of last month. That's what I was sharing. On the 5th, the moon was in Libra. It'll be tomorrow as well with the new moon. It'll be the 17th when the moon is in gate 3 in Aries gate. We'll have the full moon of the month around the 23rd when the moon will be in Cancer, gate 56 and 60, like it was last month on the 26th. And then as February begins, the moon will go into Libra, gate 50, which will create an aspect with Pluto in gate 60. I'm going to go ahead now and share, as you guys can see on the body graph. These are all the points that I've been going over: 52, 50, 56. The nodes currently are in 57 and 51, causing a lot of shock and intensity. 57 likes to speak out no matter what the circumstance, and it likes to speak out in a gentle or intense way. And gate 51 is shock, surprise, initiation. Sometimes we need to recover from the shocks of things. I'd added that this month and the year in general will be full of shocks and chaos. I'm going to go ahead and share a different page. See if I can do that. Okay, so I just wanted to show the dates. Here are the dates here of when Pluto will be impacting, or the moon will be impacting Pluto. This happens every month. Maybe take a picture or take down these dates if you want to observe this. Usually what I find, as I've mentioned, is there's blow-ups, emotional blowouts and blow-ups. And also we could describe it as emotional breakthroughs, especially for repair, where two humans reach a point of intensity and then can use that energy to reparate and repair. Humans usually us humans, we don't enjoy our negative emotions. I don't know why that is. All emotions represent the experience of immense joy of beingness. That's why we're here in human bodies, to experience the great depth and heights of emotion. Nothing, of course, wrong with favoring balanced expressions of emotions. I think that on some level, that's what we all kind of want or seek. But in essence, all emotions represent the necessity of of experiencing and expressing ourselves. And usually it's important to be able to hold the intensity or feel the intensity from others of the expression of emotions. But there's a lot of work to be done for us to feel safe with others and ourselves in such depth of expression of emotions. So observe these days of the month to see how you feel, to see the emotions indeed build up for expression. Obviously, this would be most intense on the full moon. And this has been going on for about a year. And it's the same every month. It's whenever the moon passes into late Libra, Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn. Those 4 signs have been showcasing these particular blowouts or blowups in aspect to Pluto. Once Pluto changes gate in another year or so, then there'll be a different pattern of where the moon is and how it will affect when there's emotional blots. Anyways, I think I'm over talking this. I don't know that I have too much more to add. I did a write-up. I don't really like my write-up. Maybe I'll touch on it a little. I wrote down I was thinking of calling it celestial waves. I still haven't decided yet. Or plutonic waves. End the beginning, begin the end. Plutonic lunic dream wave. Pluto is the truth that awakens with emotional breakthrough when the little girl moon transits to its higher octave grandmother Pluto. Usually something comes to a head so the air can clear and topics can be reassessed, repaired, and resolved. When it happens around full moon endings, things can get explosive. When it's full moon with Pluto aspect, it could completely unravel our emotional bodies in an ending beginning. What happens around a new moon, new beginnings may set off in spectacular ways in interpersonal conflicts. Usually one person takes on the moon and the other Pluto, and this can alternate, as I already mentioned. In oppositions, it arises as outer conflicts. As squares, it is internal conflicts. These are aspects in astrology. As conjunctions, it is a need to discern oneself from self and others and make clear boundaries. This is kind of broad in general. I was just talking about how really our experience as humans, as spirits and bodies, is an experience of boundaries, when and where to put our boundaries. And I wanted to mention a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche in The Spake Zarathustra, when he mentioned we give up our freedom for our love. And I'll let you interpret that. Another phrase I wanted to share was, our love is what we owe to others and the world. I think that's just the generalization of what I like to say, is that we all have skills and talents, and we're here to share them with the world. Ultimately, that is our purpose. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be doing this every month relative to the particular times when the moon will transit Pluto, and we can observe if indeed this is true in our lives. Thanks so much for watching.